Hello and welcome to the next Transformation Manager blog. Today we're going to be looking at creating relationships. So let's begin. As we can see from last time, we'd gone through and defined the mappings for populating 5 of our aeroplane table columns. But now we're going to look at how we start to populate the engine used. Before we can do that, we're going to have a look on the source side and make some additions and changes to that. So if we have a look at the input files, we can connect up to them. We can have a look at our aeroplane file and view the data. Then we'll bring that down. So if we have a look at the aeroplane, we have some information about it. You can see we have the plane code there. Now if we have a look at the turbine blades and view that data, we can see we have the blade ID, the name, the description, cost currency. And here we actually have the engine data that we need for the engine used foreign key that will actually be used to link us to some engines that we're going to create. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we can see at the end of this file we actually have an aeroplane column, and if we look at the codes within that, we can see that we have a number of codes there, all prefixed with 000 and then a 3-digit code. If we have a look here, we can see that we have a plane code, but it's just a straight 3-digit code without the leading zeros. So what we really want to do is create a relationship between our aeroplane file and our turbine blade file based on these aeroplane codes. So how do we go about doing that within TM? From the aeroplane, what we can do is we can right click on there, hit new relationship, and here we can see we have our origin as aeroplane. Our destination we're going to set to turbine blades. Our forward relationship name we shall call to turbine blades, and for our inverse name we can just prefix it with an I and give it the same. We can set the cardinality there, so an engine's only going to have one type of turbine blade. Turbine blade could be related to a number of different engines. For the condition, we'll create a new condition. You can see here we could pick an attribute, so ideally we would like to select the plane code from our aeroplane file and our airplane column within our turbine blade file. However, because that's not a direct link, so they're not directly equal, so we can't say plane code is equal to aeroplane, as those two are different formats. So one's only a 3-digit number and these are 6-digit numbers with a padded 0 at the front. So what we have to do in this case is we can actually set it to a parameter, and what we'll do is we'll define what parameter we're going to pass in, and at runtime it'll be able to pick that parameter up and pass it into this relationship. So if I click OK, we can see we're going to get a parameter 1 there passed in, which is going to be equal to the airplane. So I can click OK at this point, and we can see that turbine blades has been added to our aeroplane file, which will relate us to our turbine blade. And if I drag that down, we can see the information in the turbine blade that's related. And again, although we've added this relationship here to the flat files, so we're linking the flat files together, you could also do it on the database side exactly the same way. You could create a new relationship there. And relationships are useful. So in this case, we've created a relationship between two things that weren't originally related. What you can do is you can enhance models. So say on our database side, what we may want to do if we had a relationship relating to 100,000 rows based on primary key equals foreign key, what we could do is add another relationship that has a primary key equals foreign key, but also have where x equals 4. And what that would allow us to do is only pick up those rows in the target where x equals 4. And what that means is rather than have to iterate 100,000 rows to find those particular rows where x equals 4, by using that new relationship you could just pick up the rows where that value is 4. And that may only be 10 rows. So rather than iterating 100,000, you're only actually using those 10 rows that you actually want to use. So relationships are very handy, very easy to use within TM. and they start building the basis, as we'll see later when we're building cascades between the various elements. So thank you very much for watching today. That completes our blog post for today. In our next blog post, we'll be looking at how we actually use this two turbine blades relationship to create an engine and therefore populate our final attribute on our airplane, which will be engine used. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.